Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. Just a joy to be with all of you here today. Just a bright, sunshiny day here, and just nice to share that nice energy with you. Just a few things before we begin today. First of all, you would have received yesterday afternoon our Cosmic Citizens Committee report. It's a wonderful presentation of what we here on the Earth are doing to send satellites into the sky and beyond. I just encourage you to take a good look at it. I think you'll find it extremely interesting. I'm so very, very proud of our Cosmic Citizens Committee. They're doing such a wonderful job. I'd also like to invite all of you to our discussion this evening with Eckhart Tolle, The New Earth. It'll be from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And also just to inform you, we will be having a Thanksgiving Day service on Thanksgiving Day from 10 to 11. And lastly, I want to thank all of you who purchased my new book. I think it's a wonderful book, The Three U-Turns, A Guide to Higher Consciousness. I feel that each one of you is ready to move in this direction. With that in mind, let me now present to you our teaching for today. It continues just to be a great joy for me to greet you in these weekly teachings. Our advancements in consciousness, yours and mine, are such a joy to be able to observe and certainly to experience. With this firm foundation in awareness, you will have noticed that I began a series of teachings on moving it forward, not looking to the past for who we were in the past, but rather moving forward into the future, moving forward based on solid principles and solid values which will guide our futures. We began this series last week when I focused on your decision-making. This decision-making, as we will proceed, you might recall, this decision-making was based on the notion of the principles and values of the God Spirit, providing a guide not only for your present life, but also providing a universal base of decision-making for all of humanity. Such an important thing for us to understand and to consider. It is this level of the God Spirit decision-making that we are happily now being devoted to. We are devoted to it because of the power and the joy that it brings into our lives and certainly into the lives of our family and friends. With this first principle of decision-making from the God Spirit firmly in mind, I now want to proceed to the second principle, which is the subject of today's teaching, proceeding from light to love. Proceeding from light to love. Again, you might want to take some notes. And again, I want to be as practical as I possibly can. Let's begin with two definitions that I think most of you know. The first one is the definition of the word light. You already know what it means. When you make a decision from the God Spirit, you are making your decision from the light of God. This is what Jesus and the other great teachers had meant by saying that you are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. Light is another word for illumination, a word for knowing, for understanding from the God Spirit that is within us. When we say that you are the light, you are making decisions from that God Spirit, that knowing within you. The second definition. When you express this light, when you put it into action, you are expressing love. In the simplest of terms, love is the expression of light. Love is the expression of the light, of the illumination that you know. When you love, you are bringing an act of light into each situation. Again, love is the expression of the light. It is this sense of love that I now want to explore in today's teaching. The first point, what is this love? Love is a vibration of your God spirit. Love is a vibration of your God spirit. To be in love means to be moving into your inner essence, to allow the God spirit, that energy, to come forward within you, to elevate your energy into the universal God spirit, and then bringing this energy into manifestation. You have done this many, many times in your lives when you have come to understand that you are a participation in an energy. You are a participation in an energy that is much bigger than just the little soul you. This larger energy which you have come to know is a feeling space. It's a feeling space within you that far exceeds your little soul self. But yet, remarkably, this energy is still you, but it's a bigger you. It is a higher vibration. You are the presence of the light. You are the conscious presence of the light. You know this feeling. You know this vibration. It is the conscious vibration of you as the God Spirit. This is what I want to focus on now. You as the conscious vibration of the love of God. You as the conscious expression of the light. I will begin with 2 universal teachings and then proceed to 3 very practical applications. First, the universal teachings. The first universal teaching is that love is the integrating power of the universe. Love is the integrating power of the universe. This universal teaching on love is substantiated in many, many, many teachings. My favorite one is from the flower sermon of the Buddha, when he said that this love is a universal power that moves the stars and the world. And then he said, "Thou art that." You are that power. It is a place within you that when you open yourself to this wonderful place, you begin to realize that you are the power of the universe. Now, we are quite aware that we have this universal power, that it is the integrating power of the universe. But what is much more important? What is much more important is that it has become the integrating power of our lives. It has become the integrating power of our lives. It's working for us. When we are in this love, it integrates the circumstances of our lives into a perfection that many of us still just marvel at. Love works all the time as we allow it to work for us. The second point. The second point focuses on why love works. Let me preface it with a simple remark from the New Testament, which states, God is love, and the person who abides in love abides in God, and God in her. The point quite clearly is that the God Spirit is clearly within us. We simply must activate this vibration, or in my words, we must come from love. We must come from that love. We must come from that love because this love truly is a vibration that really integrates all of the aspects of our lives. More and more, we are allowing this love to accurately guide us because love sees clearly. Let me explain. When many people look at the circumstances of their lives, or perhaps the lives of their friends and family members, they simply see the external event that is occurring. Love sees more than just the external event. Love understands the meaning of the events. Love illuminates the total picture. Love comprehends the mental and emotional components of the situation and responds accordingly. Love is pretty smart. It's not fooled. It's not duped. Love understands the more that is involved and thus becomes that understanding vibration of life that truly exists for our well-being and for the well-being of others. Love knows, it understands clearly what is occurring. Now, with these two universal teachings in mind, first, love as the integrating power of the universe, and secondly, that we are quite capable of coming from this love. Let me now present three very practical aspects for being able to proceed from light to love. Yet before I do so, I want to mention that these three practical aspects came from our topical conversations that we now hold on the first and third Sundays of the month from 6 to 7:30 p.m. These topical conversations are a suggestion of our members committee, which is advancing programs for the raising of our consciousness. I thank the members of our members committee for their suggestion of topical conversations, which invite us to talk about timely topics. Our next one will be next Sunday, November the 21st at 6 o'clock to 7:30, and the topic will be the topic of joy. And I especially want to thank the four members who brought forth these beautiful practical considerations of love that I will now be presenting to you. It's so very important for us to understand that love works all the time. And to receive our allegiance, we must see it as the integrating power of the universe. And we must allow love to deliver its results day in and day out. So let's now proceed to these three very practical aspects of the vibration of love. Again, understanding that these three applications came from our members' comments on that topical conversation of love that we had last Sunday. The first practical application came from two members. The first member made the following comment: I must accept that I am divine love. I must accept that I am divine love. Doesn't that thrill you? Isn't that just the truth? That each one of us are truly this divine love, and that our purpose here on earth is to express this love in all of our interactions, bringing heaven truly to earth. What struck me most, however, about the comment about being the essence of divine love is the sincerity, the genuineness with which the person spoke. It was heartfelt. It was truly an understanding that this is who she was and who we are. This is such an important thing for us to know, that we are advancing daily as the expression of divine love. We are consciously aware of this. This is how we live. This is how we are showing up in life. The same sentiment was expressed by a gentleman, another one of our members. He used these words. He said, "I now see things through the eyes of God. I now see things through the eyes of God." The clear implication being that his eyes were now the eyes of God. Terrific. Our eyes are the eyes of God. Again, do not these two comments thrill you? I think they do, because I understand that what these members have felt are the very same things that you feel, the very same feelings that you too have an acceptance of the love of God in your life, that you too see with the eyes of God. Isn't this true? I mean, isn't this the way you consciously act day in and day out? We are growing in this awareness together. And when one person speaks, so many times what they say resonates within each one of us, because we are becoming one in spirit, one in the love of God. Quite a wonderful unifying experience. The second practical consideration, again, it came from our topical conversation on love. One of our members was recalling a past incident when she was having some difficulty with a rather feisty neighbor. She called me about how she might be able to deal with her neighbor having a difficult time working with him. She asked for my advice. In a nutshell, I said to her, well, try loving him. Try loving him. She did. And the guidance of that loving presence truly seemed to work in her life. And then one of our members very insightfully said and made the following comment: in dealing with others, loving them is often the last thing we do when everything else seems to fail. Then she said, loving them is the first thing that we should do. Isn't this the truth? That loving them is the first thing that we should do. But perhaps more to the point, we should say that the first option in dealing with others is to truly love them. And maybe going one step further, not to say that just the first option is to love them, but the only option is to love them, to understand them, to respect them, even at times when they have a difficulty of respecting themselves. Love is our first and only option. Love is our first and only option. And let's be clear, love is not a doormat. Love does not say, well, anything goes. Love sees clearly. And sometimes it'll show up as tough love. It will always be loving because it sees the larger things that are going on simply beyond the surface event. Love is our only option now, with the clarity of understanding that guides us through any situation. The third practical direction on love. Again, it came from our topical conversations last Sunday. One of our members prefaced it with this acknowledgement. It was something that she had heard in an Al-Anon meeting. The remark was, and it's the first time I'd ever heard it, and I was quite moved by it. The remark was, say what you mean what you say, but never say it mean. Let me repeat that. Say what you mean what you say, but never say it mean. What wisdom, huh? What wisdom? Honestly, isn't this the way that you and I are now living? I don't think we have a mean bone in our body. I don't think we can do an unkind thing. Even if someone is a little nasty, we just have an understanding that that person is on their journey. And I continue to love them as love shows me how to do so. Whatever arises, we love that. In conclusion, I want to mention two things. First of all, I trust that you appreciate this teaching on love, because love is not only an expression of light, but it's also the basis now of how we will go forward now that we have made our decisions on the God Spirit. First, there is the light of the God Spirit, and then there is the expression of love. Such a powerful way of living in life. Secondly, I want to also invite you to our next evening, our next topical conversation on Sunday, November the 21st, when our topic will be joy. May you come to realize, may we come to realize that we are growing together. None of us is as smart as all of us. All of us are better than any of us. We get this, and we give this. Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. In our meditation today, we want to focus on light and love. And we will do a series of 3 steps in each. But let's begin first of all by simply focusing on the breath. Just breathing in and breathing out, and allowing the breath to do what the breath does, to calm the body, reduce the chatter of the mind, and bring love to the fore. Please begin. You might be saying again, here I am. Here I am. This is me. This is the inner me. But before we proceed, may you truly see how this inner you is becoming more your surface you. This inner you, very conscious, is now how you are operating in the world. Would you just take a moment to notice that my inner me is much more becoming my surface me. I operate from light and love. As we proceed in the meditation, would you simply take your hand and place it over your sternum, your breastbone, and put your attention a few inches inside of your body? That's where your soul self, the non-physical you, is most experienced. Just put your presence there and let me guide you. First, 3 steps into light. The first step, with your hand over your sternum and your attention in your inner soul, would you simply acknowledge that your soul self, the inner you, listens. You've been able to diminish the noise of the world, the noises in your head. And now you understand that your soul listens from within. Would you just acknowledge that? I listen from within. Step 2. What does my soul listen to? It listens to the universal spirit. That universal spirit that has universal principles and universal values. My soul listens to these universal principles and values of spirit, but also other souls just like mine also listen from spirit. Not only do I listen, but I also join with others who listen from the same place. Take a moment to acknowledge that you do listen with others. When you listen, you hear by way of an intuition. Something just comes to you, or there is the knowing. You just know it. It feels right. Which prepares us for step 3. your intuitions, your knowing from the universal realm of spirit is the light of God. You know the light. It is a conscious illumination, a conscious knowing. Would you acknowledge the fact that you know the light of God? You know the mind and the will of God. This is not a mystery anymore. This is you knowing who you are. Perhaps this is the first time in your life where you truly understand who you are, that you have a confidence in your knowing that is beyond just your little rational mind. It is from the mind of God. Please accept this light into your life. Now we're ready for the second three-step approach. Now that you know the light, you express it as love. Love is your expression of the light. It's the expression of what you know. The first aspect of love. The first aspect of love is that it is the integrating force of the entire universe. But most of all, it is the integrating force of your life. Would you just simply say in this or similar words, I am consciously expressing love as the integrating force of my life. This is what I do. This is how I show up. You see with the eyes of God very clearly, and you act accordingly. The second aspect, love is your first and only option, because it's the only power that sees clearly and always works. It's your only option. Whatever arises, you love that because it's the truth. The love within you sees clearly. Works all the time. Judgment, criticism, control, power, force. No, no more, no more. Love is my first and only option. Because it knows the light. And lastly, the third aspect, you have come to say what you mean and mean what you say. But you never say it mean. Love tempers everything. It can be tough. It can be soft. But it's never mean.
I honor thee. I honor thee. No
It's a joy. It's a joy to grow together with you. All of the rest of us in this joint session this morning. Just a joy for all of us to be one with each other. We know that not only is this possible, but this is the way we are moving forward in light and in love. Namaste.